Have you ever looked at your career and thought, I know I am capable of more? You may already be doing work beyond your title. You may be leading without the authority. You may be solving problems at a level that is not reflected in your compensation or even your performance review. You may be the person everyone relies on, but when bigger opportunities are discussed, your name is still not coming up in the way that you expected. And that may be a sign that you are underpositioned. And today I want to help you recognize what that can actually look like. If we have never met, I'm Georgia Wolfe-Samuels. I'm a career strategist, a former corporate executive, and CPA in public accounting. I am an author and an entrepreneur. And after spending more than 2 decades navigating corporate environments, I now help ambitious women build a career power to become valued, visible, well positioned, and able to create success without losing themselves in the process. So, in our last conversation, I talked about why excellence alone is not a complete or effective career strategy. The truth is, you can be excellent and still be overlooked. You can work hard and still remain underpaid. You can become deeply needed and still not be positioned for what you want next. So, today I want to make that conversation more practical. What does it actually mean to be underpositioned? And how do you know when it is happening to you? When I say someone is underpositioned, I mean there is a gap between what she is capable of contributing and the way she is currently being perceived, how she's currently being used, leveraged, considered, or rewarded. Her actual capability may be larger than her title, her contribution may be greater than her authority, her leadership may be stronger than the opportunities that she is being offered, and her potential may be far beyond the story the organization has formed about her. And that gap is under positioning. Sometimes under positioning happens, it's Jamaican in me, okay? Sometimes under positioning happens because an organization has failed to recognize what a woman brings. There are also times when we participate in our own under positioning without realizing it. Through the work we continue to accept, the way we communicate our contributions, the relationships we do not build, the aspirations we never say out loud, or the amount of time that we spend proving ourselves in places where our value has already been demonstrated. So let's talk about 7 signs that you may be underpositioned at work. So, sign number 1, your reward for excellent work is consistently more work. You deliver, you meet the deadline, you resolve the issue, you step in when something important needs to get done. And because you have proven that you can handle difficult things, people continue bringing difficult things to you. At first, that can feel like recognition. You are trusted, you are respected, people know that you will get it done. But I want you to pay attention to what that additional work is actually producing for you. Is it expanding your skills? Is it increasing your visibility? Is it giving you access to senior leaders? Is it strengthening your decision making authority? Is it preparing you for the opportunity that you want next? Or is it simply increasing the amount of work that you are carrying? Because all stretch assignments are not created equally. Some assignments stretch you toward your future, others simply stretch your capacity. And there is a big difference between the two. A stretch assignment should expand more than your workload. It should expand your capability, your access, your relationships, visibility, authority, or opportunities. If you are repeatedly being asked to do more, but the additional responsibility is not changing how you are positioned, you may simply be absorbing more labor. And I know this one can be difficult to recognize because being trusted feels good. It feels good when someone says, "You are the only person I know who can handle this." But I want you to ask yourself, what is this work building for me? What is the return? Because you do not want to become so busy being useful in your current role that you never create the space to be considered for the next opportunity. Sign number two, people see your labor, but they do not see your leadership. You are visible, but what exactly are you visible for? People see the report you prepared. They see the meeting you coordinated. They see the project you completed. They see the client issue that you resolved. They see the work product. But do they see the thinking behind it? Do they know what risk you identified? Do they understand the judgment that you used? Do they know which ideas came from you? Do they see how you influenced the direction? Do they understand how you brought people together? How you anticipated the problem? This is something that I want high performing women to pay close attention to. You can be highly visible for execution and nearly invisible for leadership. Your hands are visible, your mind is not. Your labor is visible, your judgment is not. Your support is visible, your influence is not. And when people only see you as the person who executes, they may continue bringing even when you are capable of contributing at a much more strategic level. So think about your own visibility. When people describe what you bring, do they talk only about how much you do? Or do they also understand how you think? That distinction affects what people can imagine you doing next. Sign number three, your manager is the only person who truly understands your value. A supportive manager is important. A manager who sees your contribution, understands your goals, and who advocates for you can make a tremendous difference. But your manager cannot be your entire career strategy. I have seen women build strong reputations with one leader while remaining nearly unknown to everyone else who influenced their advancement. And that creates risk. What happens if your manager leaves? What happens if the organization restructures? What happens if a new leader arrives with a different set of relationships? What happens if your manager is not in the room when important decisions about your future is being discussed? What happens if they appreciate you privately but do not advocate for you publicly? One person should not be the sole custodian of your career story. Your value needs more than one witness. That does not mean you need to know everyone in the building, and it does not mean scheduling coffee meetings just for the sake of scheduling them. It means building meaningful relationships with people who have had an opportunity to understand your thinking, your judgment, your impact, and your potential. Who has seen you lead? Who has heard your ideas? Who understands the problems you can solve? Who knows where you want to go next? Who could speak about your readiness when you are not there? Those relationships matter. They are key because important career decisions are often made in rooms that you are not invited into. And your work needs people who can carry its significance into those rooms. Sign number four, you are constantly being told to wait. Wait until the next promotion cycle. Wait until there is more room in the budget. Wait until the reorganization is complete. Wait until you have more experience. Wait until this project is finished. Wait until there is an opening. Sometimes waiting is appropriate. Timing matters. Organizations have budgets, they have structures, policies and business realities, but repeated waiting without clarity is not a career strategy, especially when the organization continues to benefit from your next level contribution while asking you to remain patient for next level recognition. If someone tells you to wait, you need more than encouragement. You need specifics. What exactly needs to happen? What gap do they believe still exists? What evidence would demonstrate readiness? Who is involved in the decision? When will conversations happen again? What responsibility, development, or access will change while you wait? What commitment is the organization actually making? Because a vague promise can keep a capable woman working toward a moving target for years. Okay? Every time she reaches the standard changes. Every time she becomes ready, something else is required. And she continues contributing at a higher level while remaining positioned at a lower one. A vague promise is not a plan. So if you have been told to wait, ask yourself, am I waiting with a clear strategy and measurable next steps? Or am I waiting because someone knows I will continue doing the work regardless? Okay, sign number 5. You are primarily known for being supportive, helpful, and dependable. There is nothing wrong with being supportive. There's nothing wrong with being dependable. There's nothing wrong with being someone people can trust. Those are leadership qualities. But pay attention when those are the only qualities attached to your name. She's always willing to help. She keeps the team together. She is such a great resource. She is dependable. She will do whatever is needed. She makes everything easier. All of that can be true. But are people also saying she drives results? She has strong judgment. She sees around corners, blind spots, right? She influences the outcome, the direction, right? She understands the business implications. She develops people. She challenges our thinking. She is ready for larger responsibilities and opportunities. Sometimes women are celebrated for how well they support leadership without being recognized as leaders themselves. They are praised for collaboration, but overlooked for authority. Praised for helping, but not credited for shaping the result. Praised for making the environment better, but not considered for the opportunity to lead it. So ask yourself, what adjectives follow my name when I am not in the room? Do those words position me for what I want next? Or do they keep reinforcing the role that I currently play? Sign number 6. You talk about your responsibilities, but not the value that they create. This is one of the most common positioning gaps that I see. Someone asks what you do, and you begin listing activities. I manage the process. I prepare the report. I lead the weekly meeting. I oversee the team. I support senior leadership. I handle client issues. Those statements describe your responsibilities. But guess what they do not do? They do not always help people understand your value. The more important question is, what changes because you do that work? You manage the process. Does that process reduce risk, improve efficiency, protect revenue, increase accuracy, create a better client experience? You oversee the team. Does your leadership improve retention? Does it develop future leaders? Does it increase productivity? Does it strengthen collaboration? You prepare the report, but does that report help executives make faster decisions? Identify financial exposure, understand performance, allocate resources differently. That is the value. Your work is valuable because it produces a meaningful difference. But if you cannot explain that difference, the people making decisions may not understand the level at which you are operating. And this is where women sometimes become frustrated. They believe that their results are obvious. They believe everyone should understand what the work required. But decision makers are often too far removed from your daily responsibilities to connect those dots for themselves. You may have to connect them. You have to give it language. That is the context, and context matters. There is a difference between saying, I am amazing, and saying, here is the problem we faced, here is the role I played, and here is what changed because of the work I did. One is a claim, the other is evidence. Learn how to communicate the evidence. Now, for sign number 7, you begin positioning only after the opportunity appears. This is a major one. Many women wait until a role is posted before they begin preparing for it. That is when they update the resume. That is when they schedule a conversation with their managers. That is when they begin introducing themselves to senior leaders. That is when they suddenly become interested in a more strategic project. But in many organizations, the formal process is not the beginning of the decision. It may be closer to the end. By the time the role is announced, leaders may have already have people in mind. Potential candidates may have been receiving exposure for months. Their readiness may already have been discussed. They may have been given stretch assignments that demonstrates the value that they bring. They may have received introductions, sponsorship, or feedback that helped position them before the opportunity was visible to everyone else. Positioning begins long before the application opens. It begins when you become clear about the direction you want to move in. It continues through the assignments that you choose to participate in, the relationships that you build, the results that you communicate, the questions that you ask, the point of view that you share, and the aspirations that you make known. People cannot support a direction that you have never communicated, and they cannot consistently position you for opportunities they do not know that you want. I understand why many women wait. There may be a fear of appearing too ambitious, a fear of being disappointed, a fear of saying what you want and hearing no. Sometimes it feels safer to keep working quietly and hope that someone will notice you and recommend you. But hope is not positioning. And if you know you want to move, you have to give people the opportunity to understand where you want to go. And then you have to assess whether your current environment is willing and able to support that movement. Those are the 7 signs. Your reward for excellent work is more work. People see your labor, but not your leadership. Your manager is the only person who understands your value. You are constantly being asked to wait without a clear plan. You are primarily known as supportive, helpful, and dependable. You describe your responsibilities without translating their impact or the value. And you begin positioning only after the opportunity appears public. Recognizing yourself in one or more of these signs does not mean that you have failed. It means there may be a gap between the value you are producing and the way that value is currently being understood or used. And once you can see the gap, you can begin making different choices. So, what do you want next? I want to give you 5 places to begin. First, become clear about what you want. What kind of work do you want to be doing next? What type of responsibility? What kind of influence? What level of compensation do you want? What type of environment do you want to work in? What do you want your work and life to look like? You cannot position towards a future that you have not defined. Second, decide what you need to be known for. What three qualities or capabilities should people associate with your name? Is it strategic thinking, leading change, developing talent, building client relationships, solving complex problems, creating operational clarity? Do not leave your professional identity completely to chance. Third, begin documenting your evidence. Keep a record of the problem, your contribution, your result, and why it matters. I actually created a tool called the Career Advocacy Arsenal. It is designed to help you capture your accomplishments, translate your work into value, and prepare the evidence that you need before performance reviews, promotion conversations, compensation discussions, or other moments when you need to advocate for yourself. I will leave a link to it in the description. Do not wait until performance review season to remember what you accomplished. Fourth, expand who understands your work. Build relationships across, above, and even outside of your immediate areas. The goal is not to collect people. The goal is to expand the number of people who understands what you contribute and the value you bring. And fifth, evaluate the return. This part matters. You can improve your communication. You can build the relationships. You can express your aspirations. You can demonstrate readiness. You can do everything strategically and still discover that your current environment has decided to keep seeing you in an old way. Sometimes you have positioned yourself well, and the organization is still unwilling to reposition you. And at that point, career power may require a different question. Not how do I prove myself again, but is this the place where I should continue to invest my value? There comes a point when endless proving becomes expensive. It costs time, energy, confidence, compensation, and opportunities, and sometimes your well being. You should not have to spend your entire career auditioning for people who have already benefited from your capabilities. So take an honest look at where you are. Are you being developed or simply depended on? Are you being positioned or simply praised? Are you being prepared for greater leadership or simply given greater labor? Are the people around you helping to expand what is possible for you or becoming increasingly comfortable with you where you are? Those are not easy questions, but career power begins with being willing to examine the truth. Your next opportunity may require you to become clearer, more visible, more vocal, more relational, more strategic, or it may require you to stop waiting for one organization to imagine a future that you are fully capable of creating somewhere else. You do not need to become less excellent. You need to make sure your excellence is building something for you too. So I would love to hear from you. Which of these seven signs felt most familiar? Tell me in the comments. And if you know another woman who is doing far more than her title reflects, I want you to share this conversation with her. Because sometimes the first step toward repositioning yourself is finally having language for what you have been experiencing.